All right, hello everybody, and welcome to a special interview for Pastrami Nation, the Vita Pop Culture. My name is Nolan Smith. I'm the editor and co-founder of Pastrami Nation, and I'm excited today. Today we have the CEO of Mad Cave Studios, Mark London, here to talk about Mad Cave and their 10-year anniversary. Mark, welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me, Nolan. How you been?
I've been good. How about you?
Good. Busy, as you so eloquently put it. I mean, yes, it's our 10-year anniversary, so working hard to make a big splash this year.
Fantastic. So let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Mhm.
So let's talk about an origin story. Unlike those you would find in your comics, Mad Cave Studio, that's a name that's been making waves in the comic book world for a while now. Can you take us back to the beginning? How did it all start? And what was the moment of inception for Mad Cave Studios?
Mhm. Well, it's kind of like an interesting story in a sense because Mad Cave Studios was really something that I wanted to do, but not the way that it actually ended. What it ended up being, I mean, it was something completely different. And at the beginning, I wanted to tell stories. I'm a kid of the late '80s, so I grew up with Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, He-Man, all that great stuff, video games, animation. I read a lot of novels back in the day, so I was like fascinated, but just like thinking, imagining, creating, and sure, life takes you different routes. I was on a path to just study business and work for companies or corporations and keep on doing all that stuff that sometimes your family thinks that's how they're going to be proud of you because you're doing those things. But it was never my thing. I mean, I'm grateful that my family pushed me to just go the business route of things because I've learned a lot. I got a certain skills that I have actually helped us now with Mad Cave. But one day I just woke up and I was nagging my wife like for the longest time, telling her like, listen, this is something that is not gonna go away. I mean, my passion, writing stories, writing scripts. What should I do? I don't want to be that guy that wakes up at 60 and basically just saw your life flashing before his eyes and be like, hey, I missed my chance. So my wife was like, you know what? If this is something that you really need to do, I'll support you. I'll support you. So let's go all in. So I was like, okay. So I got her blessing, but at first I really wanted Mad Cave to just something. Of course, you're very cautious at first when you're trying to embark on something new, especially something that it's putting out there your skin exposed to the world.
Mhm.
So it was more like it's kind of like those singers that they say that they sing but they only sing in the shower. So for me, all the creative aspects were like, no, I really want to do it, but this is only for me. So when she gave me the okay, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna build like a website and I'm gonna build like a fan page, and maybe I can put a couple of scripts there, maybe I can do some outlines, put a couple of pitches, and hopefully I'll just try to rope in a few artists and that they can help me just put my writing into pretty pictures and all that stuff. So just to make a long story short, I got in touch with an ad agency or a marketing agency back in the time, and I was like, okay, guys, look, this is really what I'm looking for. But when they start seeing everything that I have planned for it, they were like, you know what? I think that maybe you can take this an extra step, and maybe you can go the distance because there are some things here that are that look interesting. So I was again flattered because they recognize that. So I was like, okay. So we started building a website just to like try to self-publish so some of my comic books first. Because I also didn't want to work with anybody else without knowing exactly what the hell I was doing, because I know
Right.
how important we as creators, we give it all when we create something. So I didn't want to be responsible at first of trying to bring in other writers babies, just to put it in a matter of speaking. So I started putting a few things out there, and I started meeting fascinating people that were actually very in tune with the comic book industry, and very creative individuals that knew about marketing, that knew about graphic design, that knew about the publishing side of things. So everything started growing, Nolan, and then we released our first book, which was Battlecats, almost 10 years ago. When we used to go to conventions, I mean, people did not know us as Mad Cave. They knew us as the Battlecats people. Oh, those are the Battlecats people. But at first, I was writing all the different titles for Mad Cave. So I was writing Midnight Task Force. I was writing Honor and Curse. I was writing Knights of the Golden Sun. Later, it came Wolven Heart, created a concept for RV9. So all these things, but again, I realized like this cannot be a one-man show. It's impossible, and I really want to give others the opportunity to try to have a collective creative force, to put it in a sense of as a matter of speaking. So that's really what happened. I mean, I started meeting all these great artists that could actually turn all these scripts into comic books, and that's what started Mad Cave. That's the origin story. Sorry that I rambled.
No, I love it. I love it because the part that stuck out to me the most was when you said like you didn't want to bring other people on board until you knew what the hell you were doing. And to
Mhm.
me, that's just speaks volumes for you as a person because
Thank you.
it takes a lot to get something going, and to make sure you're doing it right, to work out all the kinks, and then to say, okay, let's see who's interested. So for you
Hmm.
to have that, that side of caution, I really like that because that's I think it's important that we're respectful of all of our creative peers,
Hmm.
and not to jump the gun, right? Because we'd love to have everybody come work with us, and then we're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So understand that completely.
Uh-huh. No, no, no. And again, I love how you're putting it because it was exactly that. I mean, I cannot try to be dishonest with, first of all, the craft, the passion, because I feel that the nothing that we have here at Mad Cave is ours. Once that is published, I mean, it becomes somebody else's property in a matter of they become passionate about the content and they become in love with the characters. I mean, if you do your job right, I mean, that's really what's going to happen. So bringing other people's babies, I mean, or creative content, I mean, what was a huge responsibility for us. That was, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. But that is why eventually we created the talent search that we do every year, because it was a matter, in a way we knew how hard it was to publish your own content. I mean, I lived it myself. Starting Mad Cave, very, very difficult, but I know how hard some people are working in the shadows, and they don't have a megaphone and they don't have a voice because the outlets are so difficult, I mean, to penetrate. So with the talent search, what we did was like, okay, we're not going to bring in your babies, but come here, work under a tutelage. This is what we want you to do. And we create more content. So it's a win-win, but it's a way that you can also expose, I mean, your talents as a writer or as an artist or as a letterer or as a colorist, and then you'll take it from there. What you do after that, I mean, that's definitely on you. And so it was also a great way to try to give something back. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, I'm glad that you mentioned that. Yeah, because I mean, it is hard to crack into the business, being a lifelong comic book fan. And of course, all of us try it every once in a while. Like we try to break in, did my try, 400
Yeah.
copies self printed, hit Comic Con and everything back in 2004. And it was
Mhm.
hard. It was
It
hard. And
was
like you
hard.
said, like
Yeah.
putting it out there for the world to see. And I can
Hmm.
tell you right now, looking back at it, like compared to what I can, do now and see now, it was pure crap. But we all start somewhere. And it's so hard to find that part to start somewhere. So I really love
Yeah.
that you do that. I love that every year you do that talent search, to put that spotlight on those that, like you said, maybe they're working in the darkness. And
Hmm.
we get down on ourselves a lot as creative types. We feel like we're our own worst critic. And I think
Hmm.
that's awesome that you're allowing people to give that shot and say, like, okay, I click submit, it's done. Let's see what they say.
Hmm.
You know,
Correct.
so
Hmm.
it's a fantastic thing you're doing, sir. Now I want to
Thank you,
jump
Nolan.
into we're 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So over the past decade, Mad Cave you've had a treasure trove of stories. So out of this impressive roster that you've had, which would you say is your personal favorite? And then on the flip side of that, which one hit the jackpot in terms of success?
Well, I think I can answer those two questions. I mean, with one title, and I'm going to tell you
Okay.
why. Because, of course, like I really feel proud of what I've written. and it was basically what kickstarted everything that we have now. But if I would have to shout out one book, it would have to be Nottingham. And Nottingham has been a monster of a book for us in a sense that, first of all, it's written and drawn by two talent search winners from our second year that we did the talent search. So it was kind of so it was kind of like lightning in a bottle in a sense that when you're starting with comic books, you're always going to have those barriers of entry, like, okay, who are you distributed by, and who's writing this book, and who's working on this book, and oh, do I know the characters? So at first, in the first years at trying to build my cave from the ground. I mean, we used to hear that all the time. Are you who's your distribution partners, and okay, are your characters well known as Batman or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? And be like, no, this is something that we created and we're passionate for. Oh no, and who's the artist? And who's the writers? I don't know, Raphael Albuquerque or Tom King writing it. And we were like, no, this is just your average Joe, just like that. We really care about this stuff, and we're trying to put it out into the world so somebody can see it. So going back to your question, Nolan, Nottingham was really something special because it was something that came out of the blue from two people that were, again, working in the shadows, really passionate about this, David Hassan and Shane Connery Volk, and it caught everybody by surprise. So it's dear to me because something that we really wanted for us to get out and for people to see out of the talent search, it actually bear fruit in terms of like, look, there are people in the shadows that are very talented that don't have a platform or don't have the proper stage, and there's an unknown IP that, sure, you might be a little bit aware of the legend of Robin Hood and all this stuff, and it's Nottingham is twisting the tail on its head, but how many times have we seen that? So that's not a guarantee that you're really going to have, again, that you're going to catch lighting right off the bat. So for me, if a title that has defined everything that we've been trying to do at Mad Cave is Nottingham, precisely for that reason.
I love that story. Nottingham, let me tell you, that was probably one of the first Mad Cave books I came across that it was hard to track down at the comic shops
Yeah.
because everybody was so excited for it. The buzz around it was
Yeah.
just huge, and I did track it down. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's eBay. I tracked it down.
Yes.
And it was amazing. You know, like you said, it takes that classic trope of, Robin Hood. We know the stories, but oh, you get such a mature, violent
Sure.
story out of it, and I loved it. It was perfect for the comic book medium. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so
Mm-hmm.
cool to hear because you have to feel kind of like a proud parent there because
Yeah.
these are talent show winners that you're showcasing that just like you said it caught fire and look at it
Mm-hmm.
now. So oh that's
Yeah.
fantastic. I didn't yeah I was
Yeah.
excited to see what your choice would be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but you know what? But it's also, I mean, I do have to shout out, I mean, our team at the time. I mean, Chris Fernandez, our publisher, he really fought hard for those guys, for David and for Shane, because I had something completely different in mind. Because again, we were the ones that with Chris and with the editors at the time that we would give the talent search winners kind of like some pitches and be like, okay, you can play with this within this boundaries. And Nottingham was supposed to be something different. And then Chris, first of all, he really fought hard for Shane, which I think that his art, his style, is also something going that Nottingham has going for it. And David basically just brought, again, the whole Robin Hood tale and and flipped it, and well, it is. So again, it's also um a testament of having great people on your team, that they're the ones that deliver the goods. So that was also something special.
absolutely. No, that thank you for sharing that. And if you guys have not checked out Nottingham, you need to go make sure you check that out. Go to your local comic shop and get that order,
Mm-hmm.
and you will not be disappointed. Now, next up, so it's kind of a hot button issue right now in the world. The surge of AI has been just like transforming landscapes in all art forms, and comic books are no exception. So, from
Mhm.
your perspective, what challenges do you think the comic book industry is going to be facing in this new AI-driven era?
Yeah. Well, Matkey has a very firm position of no AI, and that is something that we are not going to endorse because, again, the comic book medium is very old. It's really what we like. It's sweat, blood, and tears, and a lot of fire, to an extent. So, yeah, AI is sure is the future, Nolan. It's a lot of people are using it. But the problem is that when you start infringing on other people's work, that's where I draw the line. And unfortunately, I've said it publicly on social media and on other interviews. Like if I get a submission and I catch somebody, I mean, using AI, I mean, I'm going to be the first one that is going to expose you, shut you down, because it's not fair to people that have been really, really working hard on this medium. I mean, putting food on their plates, trying to really, really take a stand about the medium, the industry as a whole. Making a comic book is very hard work. It's a collaborative effort that a lot of people take very, very serious. And that's why a lot of people, unfortunately, that they don't know comic books, they don't understand the amount of work that goes behind every single little detail. So when you have a tool like AI, which I get it, okay, for research, if it tried to make our world better, of course, I'm going to be the first one that is going to be on board. But if you're going to take money away from families, then I'm going to be an advocate against the tool. And you know what? The thing is that a lot of people think that if they use AI and the way that they're trying to portray it, I mean, editors have become very, very savvy and they can understand and they can see right through it. You would just see when something is written by AI, or you can see when something is just like Photoshop by AI. The technology is not there yet. We might have a little bit of a problem down the line, but again, you have to meet deadlines. You have to be on top of it, and when you've been doing this for so long, you start picking up a certain tendencies and certain ticks, by the way, or like when you play poker, you start reading certain faces that you're like, there's something really off about here. Sure, a lot of artists are now digital, and sure, that helps a lot. It has improved a lot, but still, the artists need to be behind the operation. I think that the human element still needs to interact. I mean, call it a pencil, call it a stylus or whatever, or even the keyboard. So those are little things that eventually, sure, are gonna get hard. I'm sure that they're hard, but again, um, I don't know. It's gonna be tough, but we don't endorse it because I don't think it's fair.
I agree. And you nailed it right there. So I've talked to my students about this before. I'm an educator, and we can spot it a mile away, right? You can spot
Yeah,
when something's AI. But the one thing that AI can never mimic, at least right now, is the human element. And like you said, it
correct.
could be the pen or the pencil. It could be the emotion. If
Yes.
like Will Eisner would not have created what he created with AI. Like the man dripped emotion into his stories.
Mhm.
And paved the way for generations now to say like, wow, look at everybody that came
Mhm.
before us. Look at the Jack Kirby's and look at all they did. And now it's my turn. And you
Mhm.
nailed it when you said it's not easy. Writing and creating comic books is a massive process if anybody's wondering. There's a lot that goes into it, and it's not always just a writer and an artist. Like you mentioned, there's
Mhm.
the letterers, there's colorists, there's
Yeah.
every part of it, graphic design, editors. And I agree, AI is it's a
Mhm.
cheap way to get there. I agree that AI can be a good research tool for working on a project, but then you need to put in the work because everybody
Correct.
else is. So I fully agree with you on your stance on
Yeah.
that. I just had to bring it up because it's everywhere. We're seeing it blow up
Yeah.
everywhere. Everybody has their form of AI now, and you're like, "We really
Yeah.
need it?"
Mhm. Sure. And again, if it's a tool that is going to help your daily chores and is going to make your life easier, of course. But again, when you start tiptoeing around like, okay, what is morally acceptable and what is not, and when you start drawing the lines of infringement and this and that, because again, you're a writer yourself, Nolan, and we've been through this. Of course, before AI, there was plagiarism. And there was a lot of things that a lot of people got caught up for. So it just, but there's also no better way of trying to put something out there that if you're just sitting at your desk or standing at your desk or doing whatever and just doing the work. And also with AI right now, I mean, especially the industry, because you know the players. We've been working with players that were actually doing this before the whole AI craze was out there. So you know their work. You know how they work. They already have this style, this rhythm of how they approach things that, well, you're even going to try to go with the tried and true because also you know them. So, but again, newcomers or new artists that are just coming into the frame are stepping out into the scene. I mean, do the work like the greats from the past that they all did it. So take example from that. Take example from Alan Moore. Take example from Will Eisner. I mean, read that stuff and be like, oh, okay, because a lot of people can do that. It's pouring your emotions, being consistent, be disciplined about the craft, and eventually you will get there. Nothing is easy, but eventually, no way. There's no reason why you should try to cheap yourself, as you're saying it, Nolan, by using a tool that is supposedly going to do the work for you. Because again, I guarantee you, it's never going to be better than if you pour your soul, tears, blood into the material. It will never achieve that. Never.
Completely agree. Completely agree on that. And I mean, if you hit a writer's block, people, put on music. That's what we do. Put on music, get
Yeah.
inspired, go for a walk,
Yeah. Yeah.
get some coffee. There's it's in you. And I love that, you said that like nothing will ever mimic what we can bring as,
No.
human beings.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you're like, I want to jump in the industry and I'm just gonna go to Chat GPT, listen to what Mr. Mark London's saying. Like just try it for yourself and you
Mm-hmm.
will suck at first. We all do. And you have to just
Mm-hmm.
keep going through it. Nobody's gonna come
Mm-hmm.
out and say, like, I'm Brian Bendis right off the bat.
No.
It's not gonna happen ever.
No.
So all right. So I do got one last question, and it's the big
Sure.
one because it's the focus of what's going on this year. We're talking 10 years, 10 years of Mad Cave Studio, 10 years of pantomime, of Battlecats, of Honor and Curse. Can you give us a sneak peek of what you have on the horizon coming for the 10-year anniversary? And I noticed one big project already that's hit the media, and that's of course Dick Tracy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, for this year, of course, we're gonna try to showcase and shout out for the Ford wins that yes, it's a 10-year anniversary because like I always keep telling the team and I even look at myself in the mirror and I just again I'm saying it to myself that it's been like yeah it's been 10 years of putting your best foot forward, trying to work, I mean, with talented people, giving the opportunity to certain people. So the 10-year anniversary is it's a milestone, but it's of like everything that you've been doing. So aside that we're gonna shout out from every single rooftop out there and highlighting the work of great and talented creators across the board, that's something that we're gonna keep on doing this year, and that's something that I feel very proud of. But as you clearly mentioned, Nolan, yes, Dick Tracy by Alex Segura and Michael Moriarty, and of course drawn by Geraldo Borges. It's fantastic. But we also have Gatchaman, which is going to be written by Colin Bunn, an artist Chris Batista, and we also have Flash Gordon, which is written by Jeremy Adams and drawn by Will Conrad. So those three titles are going to kickstart some very, very interesting properties that, of course, they're licensed properties. And it doesn't mean that Madcap is going to steer away from creator-owned content or even homegrown content. It's just putting out there what we love, which is great stories that I grew up with, that a lot of people grew up with. What actually fascinates people about comic books are these characters, these stories, but in tandem with everything else, in tandem with keeping the talent search alive, keeping again the creator-owned properties that nobody knows exactly what it is, but you might know them, so you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna support them, or a well-known IP like Gatchaman or Dick Tracy or Flash Gordon. So I like to call it again, like as Mark Irwin, our VP of business development, he always told me, he's like, yeah, this is the tide that can raise all the other ships. So having these licenses, having more creator-owned work, homegrown work, is not only going to highlight everything that we've been doing up to this point, which is the 10-year anniversary milestone, but it's actually setting out or giving you a glimpse of what the future holds. Sure, we are after more licenses that I unfortunately can't talk right now because the contracts haven't been signed. But again, more on that aspect, bringing in creators with their own ideas and their own content that are actually gonna blow your mind, Nolan. So that is something, and also highlighting our Maverick imprint, which is our YA imprint, and our Paper Cuts imprint. We have something in the works for education, which I know that you're a fan of. So that is something that we want to give middle graders, or the young ones, because I think that those are your future. Those are the voices of the future. So again, everything that we do here at Mad Cave is the publishing side of things first, is the content first, is the it's a lot of people they get enticed about thinking about the Hollywood and the video game and the animation. I'm not gonna lie, because I also dream with that stuff. If your content can transcend the medium, fantastic. But you have to focus on what comes first. And what comes first is the publishing. So by reaching this 10-year milestone of publishing comics, is we want to be the best publisher. We want to have the best comic books, the best graphic novels out there. And not only on the Mad Cave side of things, which is for, it has mature content, but also for young adults through Maverick and middle graders through Paper Cuts. So that is something that you're going to continue seeing, more alliances that are directly tied to the publishing side of things. Again, I wish that I could say a little bit more, but stay tuned, because during summertime, that's when everything's gonna is gonna see the light of day, hopefully. And again, you're gonna be the first to know. I'm gonna reach out to you personally. I'm gonna tell you, okay, these are the things that we discussed during our interview that I couldn't say at the time, but now I want you in the know, Nolan. So
Oh, I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. And I love that you said, like, of course, having the Mad Cave stuff that has some mature titles in it, but also focusing on the kids.
yeah,
There are so many kids that, so I had David propose on a
yeah,
school webinar before, and I can't tell you how excited those kids were to hear from this guy who started off in just doing very independent stuff, and now,
yeah.
I mean, he's working with Mad
He's
Cave, he's
Marvel.
working with Marvel, he's working
Yeah.
with all that, and
Hmm.
it meant the world to see that, like, the comic world is caring about
Hmm.
people their age. So I
Hmm.
think that's fantastic. I'm a big fan of Gotcha Man and Dick Tracy. Like, those are my two of my biggest things. So
Love
when
it.
I saw the press releases come through, I was like, oh man. I can't
Mhm.
wait, and I can't wait to learn what's coming up next. I know that you got stuff in the pipeline. We're early. We're
Sure.
in January. We got the whole year.
Yes.
But I'm
Yes.
hoping that maybe later in the year we can revisit and we can
Mhm.
chat,
Of
and
course.
see what else is coming up. And then, of course, when the talent search is coming up, we'll make sure we get that out there for everybody, because we want everybody to have that opportunity.
Of course. Of course. And yeah, and big shout out to David Post. I mean, he's the sweetest guy. He's a freaking talented writer. I mean, he's really really good. I'm just glad that we were able to rope him in to write The Devil That Wears My Face, because again, it's been such a great title for us. And again, I love David, and I wish that we can have him here as now Marvel has him. But yeah, but that's the beauty of this, that you start seeing guys that are starting on the independent side of things. And David has been also very smart on the way that he has approached his craft, approached his career. And look, that's what I was referring to a little bit, without trying to say too much in regards to the talent search. Sure, sometimes you might be granted or given the opportunity, but what you do after that, unfortunately, that's on you. And David has been somebody that, David was never a talent search winner, but he started really, really working on the nitty gritty of stuff, on his creating own stuff and his Kickstarters and everything. And
Oh yeah.
look where he's now. So working hard does pay off.
Well, I can say both Mad Cave and David Propose do have a very high pedigree, in my opinion, because when that book came across
Thank you.
my desk, I
Mhm.
haven't written a comic review in a while. And
Uh-huh.
that's what made me. I said, if Mad Cave has a book they're doing what David proposed, I absolutely need to review this.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't disappointed. It was absolutely amazing. If you haven't checked out The Devil Wears My Face, you need to go check that out. One of the coolest, like, demonic possession books you're going to
Yeah,
find. Um,
that's so cool.
well, sir, I think we're at the end of our journey, but I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for creating what you have and for giving us these countless hours of stories that we're able to grab off of our shelf and just revisit whenever we want. It's an absolute honor to be able to chat with you about what you've done and where you're going. And I can't wait to see what Mad Cape has in store for 2024.
Thank you, Nolan. Thank you for having me. Thank you for supporting Mad Cave throughout the years. I mean, you're been an ambassador of the company in a way that, and I know that, that you're tough. You like your comic books. I mean, a certain way. So again, I do enjoy when I see your reviews. I read your reviews. I see your content out there because again, that's what we do it. I mean, I would like everybody to review a Mad Cave book, and it's because I really want to know what they think because we're trying to get it right. We're trying to please you guys, and yeah, we're just gonna continue doing what we're doing. Hopefully for another 10 years or another 20 years. I mean, we'll see how far can we get.
Right. The sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit. Yes, sir.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Make sure you visit Mad Cave online. Make sure you visit Pastrami Nation online. Follow us on social media as well, Pastrami and Mad Cave. We have lots of cool stuff going on. I'd love for you to go follow both of us and see what's happening. And that's all I have. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.